Hi, I'm Ali Fee. I'm editor of Power Retail. I'm here again to share with you some of the findings from our recent Spotlight Series report on influencers. I'll start by introducing Mark Fletcher, who's the Insights Manager here at Power Retail. Mark, could you give us an overview of the Spotlight Series?
Thanks, Ali. The Spotlight Series provides online retailers with deep insights into the key challenges facing their businesses. It's based on extensive surveying of Australian online shoppers, input from leading online retailers and overseas data. We cover a new topic every month and the reports are 30 plus pages with commentary and charts. They're very detailed.
Incredible. So what do you mean by influencers?
Yeah, well, we're talking about social media influencers. That's the ones who post material that people follow to get ideas on recommendations on clothes or homewares or anything. But we're focused on shopping influencers.
But people are also influenced by their friends and family. So are they covered in this study?
Friends, family, advertising, they all play an important role in shopper purchasing behaviour. But with so many online retailers now using influencers, we wanted to hone in on them in particular.
Interesting. I mean, there are a lot of influencers out there. So how many interviews did you actually need to get a good handle on their impact?
You're so right about the number of influencers. We took the choice to interview over 9,700 shoppers and over 50 online retailers to get a thorough understanding.
That's amazing. So with that number of interviews, you must be pretty confident in the findings.
We are. I mean, if you think about most market research, we'll have 1,000 to 1,200 interviews. With 8 times that number, we're able to dig right down into the data and give insights at category level. So if you sell homewares or if you sell automotive products, we've been able to get to understand what works with your particular customers.
Very interesting. So let's start with the basics. What proportion of online shoppers actually follow an influencer? And what proportion of online retailers actually use influencers?
For online shoppers, 44% follow at least one influencer. And on average, each one of those 40% actually follows 5.4 influencers. Online retailers have embraced influencers, definitely. We have 86% of them using an influencer. Perhaps more importantly, however, we found that 23% of all online retailers are actually using 20 or more influencers. So, look, it's clearly an integral part of the online retailing marketing mix nowadays.
Absolutely. And in the end, all retail is just about sales, really. So do these followers and all of these influencers help with those sales?
They do, is the simple answer. And we took a really careful and conservative approach to working this out because it's always difficult to identify what's making an impact. In the end, we're confident that across the board, 32% of all online purchases were inspired by an influencer. So in categories like babies and kids, that rises to 43%. And even in those hugely price-sensitive categories like consumer technology, we still found we could attribute 23% of sales from the direct actions of influencers.
Does not surprise me at all. We all associate social media with young people, but did age actually make a difference?
Age and gender made a difference. So we had female online shoppers are more likely to follow an influencer, and older people, they tend to follow fewer influencers. What's really interesting, however, is that following an influencer peaks in the 25 to 44 age bracket. And similarly, it peaks amongst families with younger children, and it peaks in the babies and kids item category.
What about mums with kids?
Well, yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about there. They are really the ultimate target for influencers. But that's not to forget that influencers have an impact across every category and every type of shopper. So really, whatever you're doing as an online retailer, you at least have to consider them and make a conscious decision about how you're going to use them.
So with so many influencers covering every imaginable topic, how is a retailer to choose what's going to work for them?
There's really 2 kinds of influencers, if you like. There's ones who are working in the areas of women's fashion or beauty or homewares or food or cooking. In those 4 groups, those types of influencers really have an impact across everything. They have broad topics, But if you're following a fashion influencer, you're probably also interested in how they live their lifestyle. So there's other things that they talk about which will carry on across their category. At the other end, there's influencers who work on specific topics. So they'll be focused on the things that are relevant to your category.
So a sporting goods retailer should use an influencer who posts on fitness?
Yeah, it'll help, definitely. But like everything, it comes down to the cost versus the impact and all those types of things. Really, it doesn't matter what the subject is. What is important, though, is the manner in which they post and where they post. So doesn't matter the subject, they've got to be authentic and informative. The stuff they post has to be visually appealing, and the influencer who posts must actually use the product. People are just beyond celebrities coming in and getting paid lots of money to talk about something that they don't believe in.
Absolutely.
In terms of the category, the channel that people use to post, that also makes a big difference. So definitely Instagram and Facebook, they're the tops. Pretty much forget anything else. But it varies a lot between the different categories. So if you're into fashion and apparel, then both Instagram and Facebook, they're good. They're good for you. But if you're selling automotive products and garden supplies, it's much less important to be on Instagram. It's really all about Facebook in those categories.
It's just fascinating. We've really only scratched the surface, but this report definitely should be required reading by all online retailers because it's clear that influencers are here to stay. So thank you for your time, Mark. What's next on your agenda?
We're currently finalising a report on shopping apps, and Ali, I know you've got a few of those on your smartphone.
I don't know what you're talking about. But that's another aspect of online shopping that's here to stay. And that's all for today. But check out powerretail.com.au for the report and more than 80 others that are available with Switched On Live. Thanks for being here, Mark.
Thanks very much, Ali.